Hi everyone, I'm Tanaaz from foreverconscious.com and this is your first cosmic astrology forecast for 2025. I'm going to focus on the week of January 12th. However, I want to give a little kind of insight into some of the energies that look like they're on the horizon for 2025. 2025 is a number 9 year in numerology, which is all about endings and closing and wrapping up cycles. And that is very much mirrored in the astrology that we see. We're wrapping up so many big planetary cycles, and I'll guide you through each and every one of them. But we're wrapping up a lot of cycles. Some cycles are relatively new that we've been working with for 12 months, 2 years, but some of the other cycles that we're wrapping up this year, we've been working with for almost a decade. So the numerology and the astrology are very, very much in sync this year, with a lot of closure and endings being the theme. We also have two this year blood moon eclipses, which are also important points of ending and closure. So there just seems to be a lot of this theme moving through 2025. Also, last week or really just a few days ago on January 11th, we had the lunar nodes changing signs. So again, wrapping up an old cycle, the lunar nodes were currently in Aries and Libra, and we've been working with this energy. So the lunar nodes are a mathematical point and they determine our eclipse cycle. So for the last 18 months or so, we've been working with eclipses in Aries and Libra. And this has been, if we think of eclipse cycles as points of transformation, we've really been called to transform when it comes to this Aries Libra energy. So that's very much about the self and our relationships, how we show up when we're in relationships with others, how we present ourselves when we're around others. Are we authentic? Do we lose ourselves? How can we stand up and be who we truly are, even in our relationships? So that whole dynamic, that whole sort of learning curve has been very much a part of our eclipses. And maybe you've felt it in differing ways over the last 18 months. Well, now that cycle is coming to a close. It kind of wraps up as we move through this year. And we move into this new cycle of having the lunar nodes in now Pisces and Virgo. So the lunar nodes are an axis. They are sort of north and south. It's like a line, if you will, on the chart. And in the north point, we have Pisces. In the south point, we have Virgo. So you could say on a collective level, we're moving more because our north, or say guiding star, is Pisces. We're moving more towards Piscean themes, and we're moving away from those Virgo themes. So in a nutshell, it's about moving more towards our spirituality, moving away from that earthy, grounded Virgo and into more of an intuitive, spiritual, open, compassionate place. This is something that we're going to see play out over the next 18 months. It will feel it on a personal level and on a global level as well. Just to let you know that shift has already happened. It happened on January 11th with that lunar axis changing from Aries, Libra to now Pisces and Virgo. And we're going to see the manifestation on it under each eclipse. So we may not really be able to feel it right now. We may not be able to understand it right now. How am I moving towards a more Piscean type energy? It's hard to say. We have to wait for these eclipses, which are coming up in March, and then again later in the year. That's how we're going to start to unlock some of these lessons and gifts that this lunar node or this lunar axis will give us. So just keep that in your back pocket, that has already taken place, and that we'll be working with this energy as a part of a new cycle that will unfold this year. I'm trying not to make it too complicated because there's so much information in that and so much that we can dive into. But as always, I have you covered. So if you want to read more, go check out your yearly forecast for 2025. It's up on the website. In there, I do talk a lot about the lunar nodes and the subsequent eclipses that will trigger it. I also touch on it in your January astrology forecast. go check that out. You can read a little bit more about it. But essentially, if we think of all the things that are relating to Piscean energy, music, art, entertainment, creativity, religion, spirituality, compassion, oneness, wholeness, all of that, that is where we are being pointed towards. That is where our guiding compass is pointing as a collective, and it will be triggered under each of those eclipses that we have coming up for the next 18-ish or so months. This week, bringing it back down to this week, we have the Cancer full moon on the 12th, 13th. This is the first full moon of 2025. There is a lot of volatile energy around this full moon, which is not a shame. It kind of feels like a little bit of a shame because the moon just loves to be in Cancer. When we have a full moon in Cancer, instantly that signature is just a lot of harmony, a lot of gentle, beautiful, being in touch with our feelings, really nurturing and nourishing ourselves, understanding our needs, knowing what we want, having those needs be fulfilled. That energy can really be strong and beautiful under a Cancer full moon. This particular Cancer full moon on the 13th just has some volatility. Mars is very active under this full moon. Also Eris, which is a dwarf planet known as the sister of Mars. Both of these very, very fiery elements that can charge things up, can stir tension, can make us feel a little bit triggered, can bring up frustrations, can kind of boil up those heated emotions. Mars is currently in retrograde at the moment. So it's really digging deep. It's really digging deep and trying to unlock and uncover those deep wounds that we have held, maybe our whole lives, especially around how we show up for others, how we show up in our mostly family relationships, the patterns that we inherit from our family and how they manifest and how we use that energy. And so all of this can really, really be highlighted under the Cancer full moon. We may find home and family matters coming up for our attention. We may feel burdened or an extra responsibility with our home and family matters. We may feel old patterns or ways that we think we need to be coming up and how we need to be around others. Those old patterns may come up and we may start to realize, and this is the gift of the full moon, that they're no longer serving us, that they're draining us, that they're not the best use of our energy. So I want to plant that seed in you as we move through this week. Even if nothing comes up in your home and family life, even if you're just moving through a week and it seems pretty normal, I want you to really focus on how you are choosing to show up and what patterns and what sort of behaviors and actions and thought processes you're having, and if they are really serving you, or are you operating on an old operating system that needs to be updated, that's kind of draining your batteries, draining your life force, not conducive to the authentic, spiritual, beautiful life that you want to have, not authentic to you. That's something to really think about this week, because that full moon is really going to press on that, and it's really going to press on this Mars retrograde energy that we're working with. Remember, Mars retrograde is like an energy recalibration. How can we recalibrate how we've been choosing to use this energy and to show up, and what this Cancer full moon is doing, and the Mars retrograde, is also in Cancer. It's pushing on some of those patterns that we inherit from our family. It's pushing on our home and family environment. It's pushing on how we show up when it comes to looking after and caring for others and nurturing others, and kind of all of that, whatever encompasses that home and family life, it's pushing on that button. So that's just something to pay attention to under this full moon. Eris is also known as the sister of Mars. So it kind of comes in there and adds another layer of intensity and fiery energy to this already kind of volatile full moon. So it is a little bit of a rocky full moon, but it is really helping us to come to terms or to become aware of how we are using our energy and whether or not it is productive or it's draining us, and then how we can kind of shift and make changes. Full moons are always a great time to come into realization of things and then let them go. Come that full circle moment, that aha, that light bulb moment, realizing it, taking it in, and then letting it go and trying to bring in the new, the fresh and the new, which we can really harness come the new moon time. So that is your energy for the week ahead. I'm traveling at the moment, so I don't have my deck of cards with me. I know I always like to pull a card, but I left you with a lot of information there. 2025 being a year of wrapping up closing cycles. We do have this intense week coming up with this full moon energy really heightening and creating some tension and really getting us to think about those patterns and how we fall into these patterns of behavior that stem from our childhood, that stem from our upbringing, that stem from who we think we should be. Really questioning those patterns, trying to figure out what is a good use of our time and energy and what is no longer serving us. So a lot to think about. Check out foreverconscious.com. As I mentioned, you have your yearly forecast up there for you, your January forecast. I have a full moon forecast. Plus, if you want to get your horoscope report for 2025, it's a premium report. I have that as well. It's available as an additional download. I will put a link in the description box below. Go and check out that horoscope report. It's there to guide you all through the year. You can read, I think it's about 70 pages. It includes all the 12 zodiacs, and it's something that you can do for your sun sign, your rising sign. You blend them together, and then you really have a guiding force for you to use all through the year. So check that out. Available at foreverconscious.com, and I'll drop a link in the description box below. You all take care. I'm Tanaaz from Forever Conscious. Thank you so much.